Hello students, so we shall continue with the same chapter, intelligence, and in the last class we saw how to calculate IQ, that is intelligent quotient, and we talked about mental age and chronological age. Mental age is which measures the intellectual capacity of your capacity, which shows your intellectual capacity. For example, if you are 8 years old and you can perform the tasks um, which are made for the 10 years kids. Okay, so when you are able to perform the 10 years old task, but your age is 8, it is called your mental age. So your mental age is 10, and your chronological age is the your age. Okay, it is actually your age. Like for example, now I am 24, you'll be something around 15, 16. Okay, so that is your mental age, I mean chronological age. Your mental age is where if you can perform the tasks of now your chronological age is 15. So if you are able to perform the tasks of 20 years old, so your mental age will be 20 years. Okay, so and we saw how to calculate IQ. IQ is equal to MA by CA into 100. Okay, so that was a formula. So yeah, we shall start with the distribution of intelligence. How intelligence is distributed when it is plotted on the graph. Okay, distribution of intelligence. When an intelligence test is given to general population and their IQs are computed, it can be plotted on graph. This graph, which represents the IQ score distribution in the population, appears as a bell-shaped curve. The bell-shaped curve is known as the normal probability curve. Okay, IQ scores are distributed in such a way that scores of most people tend to fall in the middle range of NBC. The average IQ of the population is 100 irrespective of age. Only a few people have either very high or very low IQ scores. So okay, so the distribution of intelligence where when the intelligence test is conducted on a general population. Okay, so quite a number of people or quite a number of people persons are considered, and there is an intelligence test conducted on them. So and the results can be plotted on graph. Okay, IQs are calculated and the results are plotted on graph. The graph, which represents the IQ score distribution in the population, appears as a bell shaped curve. When you plot or when the results are plotted on the graph, it shows like a bell shaped curve. Okay, and it is called as a bell shaped curve or normal probability curve. So you can see I have underlined the bell shaped curve or NPC, normal probability curve. Okay, so most of the scores fall in the middle. Okay, and very few will be either very low or very high. Okay, so this is the graph, the distribution of intelligence on NPC is shown below. Normal probability curve. Okay, this is called as NPC and this is called as normal probability curve, and it is in the bell shape. So you can see the shape. Okay, so this shape is in the form of bell, so it is called as bell shaped curve. Okay, so most of the scores when the intelligence test is conducted on the population, and when you get the result and the IQ is calculated and it is plotted on a graph. Okay, this is the graph and the bell shaped curve, it is also called as NPC, normal probability curve, and most of the scores or most of the average, most of the thing, okay, falls in the middle range. Most of the scores fall in the middle range, so this is the average. So most of the scores fall in this column. Very few fall very low, that is retarded, or very high, superior. So very low is where the people are mentally retarded. Okay, and it is very the scores will be very less, the people are very less here, but the people are very more here because most of the people will have average IQ level. Okay, this is called as average IQ level. And here 130 and above, 140 or 130 and above, it is called as superior. Superior is very, I mean, they will have very high IQ, very intelligent, and they are sometimes called as gifted people. Okay, so I will talk about that later. So this is the NPC curve, which is plotted on a graph in a bell shaped curve, and it is also called as NPC, normal probability curve. And many people will fall under this box of average, very few in retarded, very few as superior. Okay, so classification of people on the basis of their IQ is as follows. Okay, so this is a table which shows where they fall. Okay, so this is IQ range, intelligence level, and the percentage of population in this range. Okay, so as I already told you, above 130 is very superior, 120 to 130 is superior, 110 to 119 is high above average. So these two categories, these two, very superior and superior, people will have high IQ, and it is just 2% or 6% of people. Okay, in total 100% result, just 2% or 6% will have high IQ. So 110 to 119 above average, 90 to 109 is average, 80 to 89 is low or below average. So basically 16% will have above average, 50, see the percentage here, 50% of the population will have average. So I showed you the middle, so here the middle thing, here most of the average people fall, and below average is just 16%, and 70 to 79 or 80 is borderline. Okay, so who are not mentally retarded but their IQ level is low. Okay, but below 70, when people who have below 70 IQ level, they are considered as mentally retarded or challenged. So these people will be around 2%. So the total percent is 100. So I think now you have understood the table. So the mean IQ score in a population is 100. IQ range from, so this is just explaining the table. Okay, the IQ range from 90 to 110 is considered as normal or average intelligence. IQ is considered okay, those who have IQ below 70 are considered as mentally retarded, and those who have IQ above 130 are considered as gifted or having exceptional intelligence. Not everyone has the same intellectual capacity. Some are above average and some are below average. Intelligent tests help to identify people at extremes. So intelligent tests are used to know your intelligence capacity, ability, or IQ, intelligent quotient, your IQ. So some people will be having above average, below average. Some will be having very high IQ, who are called as superior, intelligent, and those who have IQ level below 70 are considered as mentally retarded. Okay, so I already told you, and when we have seen in the distribution table of intelligence, where 140 or 130 above will be considered as superior and will be considered as people who, I mean, the students or people who have special abilities. Okay, so these are called as superior, intellectual. Okay, and people who are very intelligent. So these are the people, special abilities. Intelligent tests have also been used to identify the special abilities of persons whose intelligence is far above average. There are merely three types of special abilities. They are intellectually gifted or genius, special aptitude, and creative. So students who have IQ above 140 have three special abilities, that is intellectually gifted, okay, or people who have special abilities, or people who are very creative. Okay, so first one is intellectually gifted. People who are intellectually gifted show higher performance because of their superior potentialities. Okay, They are called as genius. Lewis Terman has conducted a longitudinal study of 1,500 children whose IQ score was 140 and above to see if intelligence was related to occupational success and life adjustment. Okay, so intellectually gifted, okay, these people have high IQ, that is 140 and above, okay, and they can perform higher in education, okay, when it comes to academic, when it comes to studies, they perform very well, okay. I think mostly they will have 80-90%, and they are the toppers, okay. They are called as genius. So in the second line you can see they are called as genius. Lewis Terman conducted an experiment on 1,500 people and who has IQ level of 140 and above. So he just conducted experiment to know whether it is related to how these people will have IQ of 140 and above, whether it is related to occupational success or life adjustment. So it is basically, so he wants to check out how people can have 140 above IQ, okay. Gifted individuals have IQ of 140 and above. Many scientists, artists have been predicted to have IQ of 140 and above. For example, Albert Einstein, Thomas Alva Edison, Isaac Newton, Leonardo da Vinci. Gifted individuals show high levels of creativity, abilities, and commitment. They achieve greater heights in the fields of expertise. They also called as polymaths who have knowledge of all the fields. So gifted individuals will have IQ of 140 and above, and these people will be having very good abilities, capacity, and they will be very creative, intellectual, okay. So and they are always committed to the work, okay. So in the fourth line it describes the gifted individuals or how they have. So in the fourth line they shows how these gifted individuals will have high levels of creativity, ability, and commitment, okay. So they have given example of great scientists like Albert Einstein, Thomas Alva Edison, Isaac Newton, Leonardo da Vinci. So these people are known for everyone and they have created so much. They are scientists, okay. So yeah, the gifted individuals need special attention, motivation, and different educational programs beyond regular schooling to reach their potential. So these gifted children, they need support, they need motivation, they need attention to pull them up and allow them to succeed, to recognize them, to recognize the ability or the thing which they are good at, and to make them proceed to the future, okay. So we shall stop with this and we shall continue with the two other special abilities in next class. So I think you will know about intellectually gifted